We should have won that game. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to West Ham Grumble here on the West Ham Network. So, West Ham entertained Aston Villa at the weekend, came away with a 1-1 draw, but it should have been, well, 2 or 3 goals to us, let's say, and maybe a couple of their players should have been sent off. What was going on in this game? I'll tell you what, we were hopping mad in our end because the referee for us was just making some crazy decisions. It seemed to be all one way. They were getting all the free kicks and we were not getting anything. Now in the first half, we played on the front foot. We were pressurising them, and the first half was ours, right? And it was a great goal by Antonio, really good. You know, 1 minute we're slating him off for his positional play, next minute he scored a great goal and we're all singing Antonio. But at the same time, even in the first half, we were consolidating at times and we were letting Villa get back into the game, and their passing, and they're a good side, right? Their passing started to come together a little bit more. And it's in those moments in a game when we start to consolidate, when we start to just ease off a little bit, that's when we're letting opposition play too much within us. And that's the problem. We dominated the first half predominantly, but you could see the signs there. Second half, they came on stronger and stronger. And for, let's say, 10 minutes before the goal, we could see it was going to happen. We definitely could see it was going to happen. It was the writing was on the wall. They were just getting more and more possession. They were playing around for fun. We were struggling to get the ball out and into the final third as well. Struggling to keep hold of the ball as well. But mixed in with all that, the refereeing decisions were all over the place. The disallowed goals. And we were thinking, what, from our point of view, from a spectator's point of view, what the hell's going on? We all slate off VAR. But in this case, it was just absolutely ridiculous that you've got VAR decisions that are taking so long, especially the Souček goal right at the end. It was so long. Well, was it Souček or was it Bowen? I mean, who knows at this stage? But if we all came away from the game thinking, if that is taking 6-7 minutes to make that decision, the Antonio goal, I think that was about 3 minutes as well. If it's taking that long, then what the hell is going on? Surely VAR is for obvious errors. If they're not obvious errors, if it's taking that long, then surely you should still be giving the advantage to the attacking team because they're the ones who want to go for the goal, right? That's the whole purpose of this VAR. It's for clear and obvious errors. If it's not clear and obvious, then you really are dissecting a gnat's hair just to get somewhere. Yes, you might end up with the right decision, but it just ruins the spectacle. It ruins the experience of the fans. And you're just waiting there wondering what is going on. No communication from the ref to the fans, of course, because they're not allowed to. On the screens, nothing is being shown. We're all getting our phones out thinking, is there anything online that we can find out? So we're kind of sharing our phones around thinking, what's going on? It was just, the referee really just made a really poor decision. So I want to talk a couple of players that Villa should have had sent off, for me, and around us as well. Now, there's a couple of altercations here, and quite rightly, our player and their player got booked as well. I think Douglas Luiz was one for them. Alvarez was involved. In other words, there's Zaniolo for them as well. And I can't remember, there's Bailey for them as well who was involved. There was a couple of other our players as well. They got booked. But then they committed another foul. Okay, Douglas Luiz, I think, committed another one. I think Bailey committed another one. But also, especially Zaniolo, because he lost the ball on the touchline right in front of the dugout. Then he threw the ball away. Well, if you throw the ball away, that's a yellow card. But the referee did nothing. So you had 2 players there, maybe potentially even 3, that could have been sent off in the final 10 minutes. Well, that would have made a massive difference, of course. So the refereeing decisions all the way through, but the VAR as well. And every time the VAR throws it back to the referee to say, go and have a look at the screen, it's always going to go against, it's always going to be a penalty given, against you, or it's going to be a goal disallowed, that you've just scored. It's always the case. So what's the point of this whole VAR thing? Look, I could go on and on and on about it, but the fact of the matter is, In the second half, we took our foot off the gas a little bit. Villa made their subs, right? Unai Emery made his subs in a positive way. He came after us a little bit. Then Moyes started taking off the likes of Antonio and not really replacing him with like for like. Well, why aren't you replacing him for like for like? You're bringing on Ben Johnson. He's not a right winger. Why the hell are we playing him as a right winger? It doesn't make sense to me. You're taking off Paqueta and you're bringing on Ward-Prowse. Yeah, okay, maybe there's a bit of fatigue here as well. It's just not positive enough. Just when we think we should be going for this game and putting Villa under a lot of pressure, he seems to back off. And then these subs don't seem to reinforce a plan to go forward. It's more of a plan just to hold on. And I was saying to my lad and others around us, we're holding out for the 1-0 win here. We're holding out for the 1-0 win. It didn't seem as if he wanted to go for the second goal. You would have thought after the Antonio goal was disallowed, you thought, you know what, we should be 2-0 up here. We're not. Let's try and get that goal. But we didn't. And so we let Aston Villa get, more and more confident, and they just got their goal, right? So many problems with this game, so many good points as well from us. We played some decent football at times, we played some attacking stuff, but our problem is when, as I say, when we consolidate, when we back off a little bit, because we all want our team to go 100%, 100 miles an hour for 90 minutes, right? We all want that. But that's totally unrealistic. You can't do that. You've got to have an ebb and flow in a game. You've got to have some high intensity and then some lower intensity. And the problem is when we bring it back a little bit, we're not effective in defence. We don't close shop enough, in those moments and then spring an attack. We're a little bit loose in those areas, for me anyway. But let us know your thoughts there. The referee for us was just making crazy decisions. The VAR should be scrapped. I've said this so many times now. The VAR should just be scrapped. Get rid of it. I'm not interested in it anymore. Totally ruins the fan experience. And at what stage are we going to say that the VAR should be in place, for clear and obvious areas? If it's not clear and obvious, then the advantage should go to the attacking team. It shouldn't be for anything else. This is just ridiculous. Now, regardless of whether I feel hard done by now, in case of my team, this is the same for every fan of every club, who are under the VAR system. You're going to feel aggrieved with the VAR decisions. You go to any other club, any other fan, and probably the fans will be saying exactly the same. They're feeling hard done by. So what is it? What we're talking about? We're talking about inconsistency. We're talking about poor decision making. We've had so many poor decisions throughout the whole season. And they still say that VAR is a great system. It isn't a great system if you've got so many flaws in it. And if it's taken this long to make a decision that is not clear and obvious, then obviously it's not clear and obvious. Therefore, you can't give it. You can't positively say something is so when it's not clear that it's so. That's the point of it. It's just infuriating. When they scored, you could feel the pressure building up. It's certainly around us as well. And I was just hopping mad as well because I could see it coming. I could see that we were off the gas and they were coming. We'd had a couple of decisions go against us. We'd had lots of refereeing decisions going against us. This is what I'm talking about, inconsistency. In the first half, Emerson, for me, handballed it, right, in our penalty area. Now, his arm was already out. So you could say, okay, it was hand to ball because he didn't move his arm to it. But surely, if your arm is out, it's in an unnatural position, then it could be argued that it is a penalty, right? Because your arm's not in, it's out. So he didn't give that. In fact, it didn't even go to VAR, but any other decision was going to VAR. So it seems if they need to sort out their refereeing and also the VAR and the relationship between the two. And the standard of refereeing for me is just ridiculous at this stage. Our problem is right now with Paqueta and Kudus in the team, when we're going forward, we're pretty decent. But then when we're easing off, when we're having to defend, and as the minutes go by, we tend to get looser and looser. And then throw into the mix poor substitutions or negative substitutions, and then all of a sudden it starts to crumble. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been the West Ham Grumble on the West Ham Network, and I'll catch you again in another video. Well, who knows? Catch you again. Bye now.